The news is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Cyril B. Ramney Tertola Pier Park, NV Salon, Spa, Nail and Barbershops, the Wellness Center Medical and Behavioral Health Clinics, Tissot Cross Deliciously Smooth Cider, HOV Medical, and Digicel. Sign up for Digicel Plus Home Light Bundles, faster internet, movies and sports. Premier and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Natalia D. Wheatley, had words for naysayers who have been hitting at the feather and flesh display at especially the 1690 edition of the August Monday Parade.
But you had hundreds of young women who embraced the feathers. And men. Thank you for that, Kathy. I nearly got in trouble there. Hundreds of women and some men who embraced those costumes. And the persons who have a challenge with it, did you have an equal number of persons who embraced what it is that they wanted to see? Come for the 70th. Are you challenging yourself that you're going to go out there and do a costume in the way that you think it should be done? And if you're not willing to do that and you're only willing to stay on the sidelines and complain about it, well, it will be what it will be.
This was said at the August 24, 2023 press conference called to report and reflect on this year's festivities, and in responding to the much talked about opinions in some sections condemning aspects of the parade, Premier Wheatley says changing times and the advent of social media have played a major role in this.
It's a challenge all over the world just because you have the media, which is so powerful and so influential on all of our lives. When I was a young person, I was into rap music. I used to, when Criss Cross turned their clothes backwards, I turned my clothes backwards as well. We were here, with our flat tops. That's not anything that came from the Virgin Islands. That was an influence from watching like Kid and Play and people like that. So we've always had an influence from outside the Virgin Islands. But because we have everything on our phones, on our tablets and everything right now, you can't really get away from it, and it's inevitable. But that also presents us an opportunity, because we can strengthen our culture to the point where we can influence people in other cultures as well. So we don't just have to be insular. We don't just have to be just to ourselves.
He says rather than standing on the sideline and criticizing, get involved and add your flair.
Us as a collective, one of the proudest moments I had in parade is when I was on the float with Limpin' Jack. I was on a float with Limpin' Jack, and something that I really enjoyed and appreciated. I was also in a play. We had a play one time that the Department of Culture put on, and I think, as I said before, it would be a nice idea to bring back those plays and things like that. A play, speaking about our African culture and heritage and our early years in the Virgin Islands. But the persons have to be willing to get involved in those type of things. The way we were, that's a result of persons coming together and saying, that float that was in the parade, the way we were. And that was supported by government, by the way. And I would say I'm willing to support persons who are willing to have those type of entries in the parade. I gave them a stipend or a grant to be able to put on that float. They had to raise money on their own, of course, but I was willing to support that. That came about because persons in the community said, we want to ensure that our parade represented our culture and our history and our heritage. And they did an excellent job. Look at the Reef Keepers. Look at that huge whale that they brought into the festival. It was fantastic. So some person saying, I wasn't impressed by the parade. Well, what was your entry? Did you make an entry into the parade? You be impressive. You put something in the parade that will be impressive and that people will say wow to. And then, I don't know how many entries we had this year, but let's double it next year. And let's challenge the people in the community to get involved.
A stance supported by the chairman of the Virgin Islands Festival and Fairs Committee, Dirk Walters, and his deputy, Birchfield Letsam.
The onus is on us, okay, as a community, as a people. It's very easy to drive the bus from in the back seat and sit on the side and criticize all these things, but how many of us are actively participating and contributing to the culture in the parade and all of these cultural activities? You know, it's up to us, you know, and we should be very careful as well. There are a lot of persons who want to participate, and when they actually get involved, some of us make the huge mistake of trying to belittle them. We go on social media, we say all kind of bad things about them. Come on, you know, we're one large community, we're one Virgin Islands, so we need to make sure we all come together. And I want to send a message out there. We want active participation. We want this to be a community-minded event.
We have hundreds of volunteers that actually put these things on. And you probably might notice I'm a data-driven person. And just by persons showing up, the number of entries that we would have in certain places, where people would have spent their money, these are the things that people are voting for, whether it be not necessarily with their mouth, but with their pockets and with their time. So these are things that we pay attention to. So again, get involved and do your part.
Meantime, public conversations will also chart the course ahead.
Of course, we've transitioned into something different because our society has changed. What I would like to see us be more of going forward is really to be intentional about who we want to be as a people. That not every breeze that blows will blow you left or blow you right. That you decide where you want to go and who you want to be. So we have to have a conversation about our society. We have to grow. And you grow through having conversations. You go through, as a result of those conversations, taking action. It's something that we can't be passive about. We have to be active participants of what we want to see and what we want to do. And while we really like to blame the government, that really goes beyond the government. That speaks to every single individual. And it speaks to the type of activities we want to be engaged in.
With this JTV News Update, Kathy Richards.
We know that where you choose to bank matters, and it is your vote on what your funds do in strengthening our community. As your official Bank of Paradise, we invest and support the lifeblood of our economy by helping in the realization of personal goals for homeownership, education, and entrepreneurial visions, which support small businesses. We make it our place to connect with persons and worthy causes, and we have been doing so for more than 30 years. Where your money goes and what your dollars empower are your choice. And we thank you for choosing us, a bank that gives where it matters the most, for you, for our community, and a happier tomorrow. The National Bank of the Virgin Islands.
Everyone looks to the future, but no one truly knows what the future holds.
The number of people under the age of 20 with type 2 diabetes could increase by 49% by 2050. Let it be known that we all have a 30% chance of developing hypertension.
Globally, more than 300 million people of all ages suffer from depression.
More than 60,000 young adults aged 20 to 39 are diagnosed with cancer each year. Obesity leads to problems such as stroke, heart disease, and kidney failure.
No matter your race, age, or color, we are all at risk.
These diseases can be managed or prevented if caught early.
But with the right medicine and the right doctors to keep us on a path to live a robust and healthy life,
we will live well.